Record. So in the last class we have discussed about echo command. So how do we print with echo command and what are the options available with echo command. So we have seen -e option and -n option. Under -e we talked about the escape sequences, which are /n, which is for new line, /t, which is for new tab, and /e to get a new color, enable the new color. And after that we talked about, so we use -e option in order to get these particular escape sequences enabled. Whereas you have -n option, what is the purpose of -n option is, if you give echo high, it prints on the output screen, but it ends with a new line. Okay, so most of the Linux, almost all the commands of Linux and Unix commands ends with a new line. So ls you take, so it listed the list of files, but it ends with automatically the new line. So that is how Linux and Unix commands works. Especially with echo command, if you would like to disable that particular feature, so you go with echo -n. So it disables the trailing of new line. Okay, so by default it trails, means ends with new line, so it disables that particular one. So where do we use these things? We'll talk about in the coming classes. And also, okay, this is very important. This particular new line thing is where ends, I mean, all the commands ending with or trailing with new line is very it's a very usual issue when you go with Perl and Python scripting. So Perl and Python scripting, so it usually won't expect a new line ending. Okay, so it always takes at a new line. So whenever you go with those kind of scripting languages, you always need to take care of removing the new line, trailing line at least. Okay, so always you take the, see, obviously you go with Python and Perl script also, sometimes you need to call the shell Linux commands only, shell commands. Okay, so while you access shell command, those ends with new line, so it's always your responsibility to, okay, cut off that particular new line. Okay, now and after that we talked about redirectors. So what are the redirectors we have is, we have standard input and standard output. So what is the standard input to the system is a keyboard. What is the standard output from the system is a terminal. Okay, so a monitor, in that particular terminal we usually call it as, or console, we can call it as console. Now if you would like to change the behavior of both the things, so instead of taking the input from keyboard, if you would like to take it from a file, then we go with the standard input redirector and the symbol is, okay, so this particular one, less than symbol. And also if you would like to redirect the output to a file, so we go with this particular symbol, greater than symbol. So we have these two things. And while taking, so we have seen an example of taking the input through mail command. If I'm not wrong, we use mail command. Yeah, so we have just written 2 mails and we have seen, okay, so how those emails were sent, so using mail command. So even if you want to know the commands, so you can just go with history command. I'll provide you the access to these particular servers, so you can just go with history command and you will see, so the commands whatever we have used. Okay, that's fine. And after that, coming to the standard output, okay, so to redirect the output, so we usually redirect file and out file. So what is happening here is, it is creating a file. Let me remove a file out. Okay, so ls, you don't see a file out. Now if you give ls and redirect out, so what is going to happen? So it creates a file first, and then it redirects the output. So you can clearly see that in out. So before creating the out file, what is the list of files? So these are the files. So we are expected to get only the files in that particular out file, but out file is also created and then the output went to that particular out file. So that particular redirect symbol, if the file doesn't exist, it creates that file. If the file already exists, so I'll do one thing. So ls of /boot, and I'm redirecting to out file. So now you see cat out file. Okay, you can see the list of files in the boot directory, but what happened to the previous list of files which were there in that particular file? So this redirector symbol will override the content of that particular file, overwrite the content of that particular file. Now if you would like to not to overwrite, if you would like to add the content, so what we usually do is we will use a double redirect symbol. So what double redirect symbol tells you is, instead of overwriting the content, it will append the content, it will append the output to the file. So now if you see cat out, so the ls of boot file, list of boot files are there, and our new content has been added to the end of the file. Okay, so to add the content we go with double redirector symbol, to override the content we'll go with a single redirector symbol. Sometimes you will get a situation that you need the output to be printed on the screen, as well as you need to have it in a different file. You got my point, right? So previously you're giving ls, you're getting the output. So if you are giving ls redirect out, you're redirecting the output where you are unable to see the output on the screen. I need both the things, means I need output on the screen, whereas I want to put it in a different file for my future references. So how do I do that basically? Okay, so ls, okay, you no need to redirect anything here, so you have to use a pipe character. So we'll talk about pipes. Okay, so but as of now, so you have a third party command, or it's a simple shell command only. So you can go with tee, and the file name is out. So whereas you can see the output on the output screen, and also you can see the output on this particular file. So let me remove the out file and let me try it again. So you see ls command I'm entering, and I'm using t out. So ls is listing the files, and if you see cat out, so you have that particular content on the file. Whereas with t command, if you would like to append, so what you can do is you can go with -a option. Okay, so now if you give cat out, you can see double entries. So these entries were are previous entries, and these entries were the new entries. Now, so I hope I'm clear. So if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat. That's fine. I'll respond you. So I'm just going with the other one. So in the standard output, so other day we were talking about redirecting the error. So what we have seen ls is and redirect the out file. So your output is not redirecting the out file, whereas it is still printing on the output screen. But do we, okay, so we usually think it as an output, but it's not an output, it's an error. So the output consists of two things. One is standard input, one is standard output, and the other one is standard error. So with whatever the output you are redirecting previously, so that was the output from ls command. So if there is any error, so let's say slash, which is not a directory exists, so if you give cat out, so ls command is not now redirecting the output, it is throwing the error. It's throwing the error. So usually whenever you execute any command, so you'll see outputs and as well as error. So if you would like to handle both the things, what we'll do is, see the outputs can be redirected. So I'll use like this, ls-l. So here you are getting both the output as well as error. Okay, so you are getting output as this one and error as this one. ls command is doing both. Now in this situation, I want to redirect the output to out file. So if you use out, so if you see cat out, you can see output has been redirected to out file. Whereas if you take cat error is not done. Okay, so if you would like to redirect only errors, okay, so what you can do is that 2. If you put 1 or you don't put 1, it is output. If you would like to redirect errors, so you have to use 2, okay, and err file. So now you see cat out, so you can see output, and cat err, so you can see error message. Okay, so to clear confusion, I'll do one thing. I'll just remove rm -f and output. Now I don't have any files with me. Okay, so I'll just create the, okay. So if you see cat out, you have output, cat error, you have errors. So sometimes, okay, so you'd be getting more scenarios that I don't want output and error to be two different files, whereas what I want to do is I want to redirect both the things to a single file. So in that case, what you can do is you can simply put ampersand and redirect. So what that syntax tells you is if any output comes, whether it is 1 or whether it is 2, it should go to the same out file. Now you see cat out, you can see both the output and error on a same file. And also some people uses a different kind of syntax like this. So you may usually see whenever you don't get confused. So and 1, okay, and 1. So here also the same thing happens. It redirects both the output and error. See what you are doing here. So till here you are clear. It's okay. To redirect symbol you are pretty much clear because that is an error. And what is this and 1? 1 also we know. What is 1? Output. And what and 1 is doing, it is telling to append to 1. Okay, so if any error coming over there, append to 1. What is the 1 file? Out file. It redirects over there. That's all. Okay. So that is about redirectors. And in some situations, okay, I'm least bothered about the output. Yeah, Dhiras.
Raghu, can you please explain once again that 2 ampersand greater than 1? So it's not clear to me.
See, here till here you might be clear. Okay, so this part.
Yes, 2 means error, 1 means correct input, yeah.
So this you are clear. Now I want both the output and error on the same file, right? So what I should do, I want to put the same file. So you can put like this. Basically, that makes sense, right? So output also same file, error also same file. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it will not work. Why? Because you are using, okay, so a override symbol. So it is not going to work as expected. So if you see cat out, you'll not have the proper output. See, you can see only something is missing actually. Okay, that is not the proper syntax. At least if you understand that particular part, to redirect means that is the error is going to that particular file. Now, so the error I want to put it into the same file. So what is this file? This is 1 actually. If you specify 1 and you don't specify 1, that is 1. And to redirect also I want to put it in 1. And so how you are going to tell to the shell that put it in 1 is nothing but and 1. And 1 means append to 1. So now you see cat out.
Okay, that means even error and input both will go in one file.
Yes,
out file.
Exactly. See, instead of confusing
so
like
always
instead of confusing like you can always go with like this. It's very simple. Okay, so it also does the same.
Okay. Both are doing the same thing. Okay.
Yes, both are doing the same.
Clear. Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So some people uses that one, some people uses this one, some people even, okay, so they'll put like this. So 2 redirect to error and 1 redirect to where? 2. That also makes sense. So the output also you want to put it in another file. So previously you are reversing, now you are doing in another way, that's all. Still you have the same file. Anything you can, your approach should be whatever it is, okay, so you can do that. But I suggest you to practice this one because this is very simple. You don't need to confuse anything. So and redirect means it is going to be either it is 1 or it is going to be 2, 3 or whatever it is. Just go to the out file. Now, so some situations I am least bothered about the output. Okay, so I am least bothered about the output. So in that case, what I'll do is I usually use redirect the output to /dev/null. So /dev/null is a special file in the operating system. What it does is it will take the input whatever it is receiving and it is going to nullify. It is not going to store anywhere. That is the property of the file. Okay, you can call it like a trash or a recycle bin, not recycle bin, trash basically. So once you put it over there, you cannot retrieve it back. Okay, so something like that. So /dev/null. So you don't see any output because the output went to /dev/null. And if you do cat /dev/null, you are not going to have anything. Why? Because that is a special file in the operating system. Okay, so how can you tell that is a special file? So here it is starting with C character. Okay, so if you do ls-l in our directory, you can see all our files starting with hyphen. Okay, in coming classes I'll tell you these things, but okay, so here C, this is a character special file. It's a special file basically in the operating system. So what all the files you see in /dev are almost all special files. Okay, now so I'm going to use that particular file. If I don't want output and error, so I'll use to redirect /dev/null. Okay, if I just want to redirect both the things, I'll just go with ampersand and redirect to /dev/null. That's all. But you need to understand that your ls command is getting executed. So command got executed. You're not at all okay. So eliminating the execution of the command. The command is getting executed, but you're handling the output, and if you don't want output, that's all you're going to put it there. I mean in /dev/null. Now, okay, so I'll just give something like this. So user add, so I'm giving a spelling mistake. User add is going to have a 2 Ds. I'm giving extra 2 Ds. Okay, so let's say, or I'll use proper user add command. I'll give user 1 and I'm giving /dev/null. So I'm redirecting everything to /dev/null. Now, user 1 is created or not. I have to check it. So I'll just go with cat etc password. So I don't see a user 1 here, but I hit a user add command, right? I hit a user add command, but user is not getting created. So what is happening here? Okay, so because I'm adding a user as a normal user, I don't have a permission. I'm using user add command as a normal user. Of course, I'll not have a permission. So, and I'm getting error, I'm redirecting the output to /dev/null. So in my script, I don't want any errors to be printed, but still I want to handle whether the user add command is successful or not. If user add command is successful, then only I'll go with another step. Okay, so how do I check? I don't have an output. I don't have an output. See, one very big disadvantage with shell scripting is if any command fails, it never stops. It goes with the other commands. Let me show you with an example here. Let me put it as test. See, I'm giving user add user 1, and after that I'm giving rm-rf/root. This is also not possible because I'm a root user. Okay, and after that I'm giving echo hello, echo job completed, some message. See, so test, see, first user add command failed, rm-rf failed, but it never stopped actually. See, as user add failed, your script is not coming out. It is going with the next command. As the next command also failed, it's not stopping. It goes to the next command. It goes to the next command, right? So the other day in the first class, I was telling you an example where if you would like to, okay, copy some content to a remote, a new mount point. Okay, so what all the, 1 second, let me tell you like this. Okay, so if I want to copy some content, okay, so to copy the content, I want to use a parted command to create a partition. You can go with fdisk if you are going with manually, but I want to go with parted command because I'm going with scripting. So after that, I want to I need to format it. So how do I create how do I create a file system? MKFS. And after that I need to mount it, and after that I need to copy the content. After that I need to rm command. So assume your parted command failed to create a partition, your MKFS fails. So as parted failed, it is not going to stop. Okay, so it is going to go to the mkfs. Mkfs also fails. It never stops. It goes to the mount command. Mount command also fails. It goes to the cp command. So cp command also fails because now new mount point is not created, and rm succeeds and you lost the data. So this is what happening. So this command failed. It is not stopping. It goes to the next command, next command. But if you go with the Python scripting, okay, this is handled. In some case, if your script is failing, it will just stop it over there. It will not allow, it will not continue. Okay, so this is also a very big disadvantage in shell scripting. It never stops. It always continue. Okay, now here your script requirement is you need to add a user, and after that, say if you are seeing it manually, see if you are doing manually user 1, so you can see the permission denied error and you feel okay, so my user add command is failed and you need to do the corrective action. So what needs to be done? You are deciding yourself. The script also, you have to make the script also has to decide itself what needs to be done next. Okay, so how do you decide? How do you decide, or how do you validate? Okay, so even if you see the output, this output doesn't help me. This output doesn't help me to stop my script. Okay, so but you need to stop it over there. Why? Because your command, user add command, has been failed. Hope I'm making the point very clear, right? So your user add command, you are executing manually. You are seeing the error. By seeing the error, you feel okay, user is not added, so there is something wrong. So you are a human being. You can decide what to do next. But the script will not decide. Why? Because it doesn't have any logic. This is a simple plain script. So what we need to do, we need to make a logic over there, and we need to ensure if user add command fails, I need to come out, or if user add command fails, if I need to do something, I need to do something. So how do you do those things? Okay, whenever you go with scripting, you need to get all the possible situations and you have to put them together. So then only your script can handle all the situation. Okay, so here in this case, why I'm telling this particular point again and again is this is important whenever you go with scripting. Okay, so the output is least, I'm bothered about I'm least bothered about the output. Doesn't matter for me for this particular output. This output doesn't really help me, but there is something else which is going to help you. Okay, what is that? See, even though you're executing a command, you don't see output. How can you validate the command, user add command, is successful or not? Okay, so how do you do that? One is by going with exit status. This is very important. Okay, so exit status. What is an exit status? The status of the previous executed command. The status of the previous executed command. Now how do you check it, or what is an exit status? So the exit states ranges from 0 to 255. The exit status is nothing but a number. It doesn't give you completed, or doesn't give you failed, or doesn't give you warning. It don't give any words or characters. It gives numbers. Okay, the numbers ranges from 0 to 255. Whereas 0 stands for successful, irrespective of the command. Irrespective of the command, if the exit status is 0, that means successful. Okay, if it is 1 to 255, non-successful or partial successful, whatever it is, depends upon the command. Command to command it is different, but 0 is global. 0 means success, that's all. Now how do you check this exit status? Okay, how do you check this exit status? By accessing a variable called as question mark. Okay, question mark is a variable which is an exit status variable. In the variables class you will understand what is a variable and all, just for here. Okay, now how do you access a variable? Dollar. So how do we access a variables in shell is dollar and the variable name. My variable name is question mark because question mark is a exit status variable. So here if I want to see the value, I always go with echo command. So echo command is to print. You can use it with any other command, doesn't matter to me. Okay, so for our demonstration purpose, to see the values, I am giving echo dollar question. So if you give echo dollar question mark, it is going to show you the exit status of previous executed command. The exit status of previous executed command. So what you are getting? You are getting a value 126. You are getting a value 126. Or let me give ls command. So ls slash this slash null. I don't get any output. Doesn't matter to me. Now if I give echo dollar question mark, echo dollar question mark, sorry, yeah, and if I give echo dollar question mark, what you are getting? You are getting 0, means my ls command is successful. And let's say if I'm giving, let's say slash something which the directory doesn't exist, and if you see the echo dollar question mark, what is the one it is giving? It is giving 2, means the directory doesn't exist. And let's say if you are giving slash boot, and if you give echo dollar question mark, still you are getting exit status 2. So even though one directory exists, one directory doesn't exist, still it is giving exit status 2. So ls exit status 0 means successful, 2 means the directory doesn't exist or the file doesn't exist. If you are getting no such file or directory, the exit status is going to be 2 now. So those value, if it is 0 means successful, it is global, means successful. If it is 1, 2, 3, 4, the value depends upon the command. So you know ping command basically. So let me go with man space ping. So ping command, what it does, it always checks for the exits. It always checks for the ping of the other server. So you can see here ping command, they have explained the values for exit status. If the ping does not receive any packets at all, then the exit code will be 1. Okay, so means if you are trying a ping command, if you are not getting a single ping also, then your status is going to be 1. If a packet count and deadline are both specified and fewer than count you are receiving, and it also exit status with 1, means you receive some packets and you don't receive some packets, then you are going to get a status is 1. On other error, it is going to exit with code 2. On other error, it is going to exit code with 2. Otherwise, if it is not 1 and 2, otherwise it is going to exit code with 0. Okay, so all the commands, they explain the exit status of themselves. Okay, now you are writing your script, so you also have to use the standard values in order to, okay, so in order to make a better script. Okay, so whenever you write a script, you are not the only one user might be using. Whenever you enter a company, you write a script because the requirement was given to you, and the script might be run by other users also. So you need to ensure that particular script, okay, has to work in all the scenarios, as well as it also should, okay, so it also it also should ensure that it should be run by all the users by giving the standard exit status also, by giving standard exit status and standard messages, okay, all those things. Now, so this particular exit status, how do you check? Any command you take, okay, so you can check the exit status. Now you come to this particular exit statuses, okay, so usually 1 means input error. Okay, so you take cp command. Okay, so if you simply give cp command, it will not copy. Why? Because there is no input, there is no target, means there is no source and target. If you have a file 1 and file 2, it copies from file 1 to file 2. As there is no file source and file 2 target, it will not copy. See, will it work? No. So dollar question mark, so you are getting exit status 1. Okay, usually input errors. Now assume, okay, so you have another kind of failures, which is command error. So these are the standards. I'm not saying you have to use these things, okay, so always depends. So but okay, these are the standards used in the market. Okay, so command error. What is command error? I have given cp file 1 and file 2. I have given proper source and proper target, but my script may fail. Why my script may fail? There are a lot of situations. File 1 does not exist. Possible, right? The file 1 does not exist. How can you copy to file 2? That's not possible. Okay, now you're trying to copy something on which you don't have permissions. Okay, so you went into a other user's home directory or other group's directory, and you're trying to copy that file to the another file which you don't have permissions, which is not possible. It fails. Okay, so let me go to /home, and this here, if I copy rm hyphen sorry, not rm, cp hyphen r sb third 72 sb 37. Okay, so what I'm going to get, I'm getting permission denied. I don't have permissions to copy. I'm not supposed to copy there. So in that phase, but yet you have given proper inputs. Input you have given, but there are a lot of situations which it is going to fail. There will be another situation. What is the another situation? You are trying to copy the file 1 to file 2. File 1 is 10 GB file, and file 2 also has to be a 10 GB file. So whenever you're trying to copy, okay, so there is only 5 GB left on the file system. df-h is showing only 5 GB free, but you are trying to copy a file of 10 GB. Your script is going, your copy command is going to fail. Yet you have given the proper inputs. Okay, so in that situations, okay, so we usually call it as command error. So user has given the proper inputs, and our script or our command has failed, okay, to do that particular job. So that situation, so we usually use 2. So 1 and 2 are the two basic numbers, so which almost all the commands follows. Okay, input error and command error. So that always varies from command to command. We cannot always, there is no thumb rule saying, okay, 1 has to for this one, 2 has to for this one. So it always depends upon the author who is writing that particular script. If you are writing the script, you decide your own values, you decide your own status, you decide your own messages. It's always up to you. Okay, and out of this 255 values, it is always suggested for you to use from 1 to 125. Don't, okay, cross the values more than 125. Don't use the values which are more than 125, because those are system used values. Those are system used values. Okay, so I don't think so you'll be writing a script more than 2 3 exit status. 2 is also very big, 2 3 also I don't think so. You don't have such situations. Okay, so at least, okay, even though 125 number is a very big number, so you can use that particular one. You can use 0 1 2 not 0 1 0 means successful. If you want to use 0 to 125, it is always okay. So best practice to use the values only from 0 to 125. Don't use the values more than that. Why I'm saying don't use the values more than that? So you have to use 126. We already seen 126. What is the 126? Permission denied. So if you are getting any permission denied, see, this particular user is not supposed to use, okay, so the cp command here, okay, what he got? Permission denied. What is the, okay, cp command is done. Let me show you like this. User add. Okay, what you are getting? Permission denied. So you are getting the user doesn't have an executable permission to execute this particular file. Okay, so that's the reason you are getting permission denied. Can you see here? Only root user and root group have executable permissions, but normal others doesn't have permission on this particular file. So I'm getting permission denied, and hence the status is 126. So 126, if you see, it's a permission denied errors. If you see any permission denied on any command, you'll see 126. Whereas you have 127, command not found. So sometimes you execute a command and the command doesn't exist by wrong, or the command doesn't exist. I'm giving LSS, command not found. And if you see the exit status, it is 127. Now you have the values more than that. Okay, so 128 plus n. Okay, 128 is, it doesn't have any status, but more than 128, okay, plus n is been, okay, so for kill signals. Okay, so you might have been using a kill command all the time. Okay, so kill -9, kill -1, kill -15. Okay, so you might be using kill numbers. So any idea how many kill signals are there total? Anyone? Any idea how many kill signals are there in total?
No, I've used only 9, 11, 15.
All of you are administrators. Uday, unable to hear you. Can you put it in chat? Type it in chat. Ramchandra, any ideas? Any clues from your side? Uday Kiran is saying 9. Okay. So never went with man space kill command at least. Never seen what all the values are there in total. Of course, you don't have anything here. Okay, so if you give kill command, there is an option -L. You can see it in the man page, kill -L. So you can see the total 64 signals you can pass to any process running. Okay, so usually you might be using a 9 number. So 9 means signal kill. If you simply use kill and the process ID, it is going to take a 15 signal. So these are the two usual numbers we usually use. And whenever you give something like service HTTPD reload, service FTPD or VS FTPD reload, so in that case signal hub is going to run on that particular process. Okay, means reloading. Okay, and whenever you press Control C, if something is running and you press Control C, what you are doing, you are sending a interrupt signal interrupt. Okay, so for administrators, I think okay, so till 15 signals is enough for us. Okay, from 1 to 15, and over these the most widely used is 1 to 9 and 15. Only these four signals are 99% we use only these particular signals. Okay, now let's say, okay, so let's say I'm okay, my script is okay, my process is running, and assume that okay, it's been killed by someone, it's been killed by someone. So how do I come to know whether it is killed or completed or failed? You got my point, right? If it is successful, you get a 0 message. If it has failed, you'll get a status from 1 to 125. What if the reason, if that particular process is killed by someone, okay, you should get notified, okay, or you should come to know whether this particular process is completed, failed, or it is being killed by someone. So how do you get that particular one is, so let me do like this. Let me open another session. So I'm using sleep 500. Okay, so sleep 500 is going to sleep for 5 seconds. So my process is running over there. Now if I give ps-ef and grep for sleep, okay, so this is my process ID. So I'm just given kill-9 and that particular one. So on the other terminal, if you see, okay, so you can see it is got killed actually. Okay, but how do I come to know whether this particular process exit status? If you give echo $? What you are giving? 137. Okay, what is this 137 is this one. 128 plus n is called as kill signals. 128 plus n is called as kill signals, whereas n stands for okay, kill signal number. Kill signal number means, you take an example 128 basic mathematics. I'm sorry if you are not from any of the mathematics. I hope at least basic school mathematics is fine here. 137. Okay, 128 plus n is equal to 137, and n equal to 137 minus 128. That is going to be how much? It is going to be a 9. Okay, so can I determine? Okay, so this particular okay, so sleep is killed by kill signal 9. Yes. Why? Because how? Because I can see the exit status as 137. So let's say I'm giving sleep 120. Okay, I'm pressing Control C, and if you see the exit status, it is 130. Means 128 plus n is equal to 130. Means n is equal to 130 minus 128. So how much is 2? So kill signal 2 it has been used. So interrupt. Okay, like this. So we usually determine the exit status. So the exit status ranges from 0 to 255, whereas 0 is successful, 1 to 255 is non-successful. Whatever the reason it is non-successful. And how do you see the exit status is? Okay, see the exit status means we are printing. Okay, if you want to use the exit status, you might be using with a different command. Doesn't matter with us. And okay, so echo dollar question mark to see the exit status. Okay, dollar question mark is the one. How do you access the exit status? Whereas 1 and 2s are the two usual numbers which we use, and it is a preferable thing to use from 1 to 125, whereas 126 stands for permission denied errors and 127 stands for command not found. And also, okay, so 128 plus n, okay, 128 you don't have anything, but it is used as a base number to calculate this kill signal. Okay, so 128 plus n is usually called as kill signal number. Okay, so if you see any values more than 128, you can tell that is it is been okay, a kill signal has been sent to that particular process, and this is the status. How do you calculate is you reduce 128 from that particular kill signal, you'll get the actual kill signal number. Okay, so this is how we determine whether our command is successful or not. Okay, so in this particular script, so the test script whatever we have written, so what we can do, so after user add command, I'm going to check the exit status. If it is equal to 0 means it is successful. If it is not equal to 0, okay, so then I'm going to do, okay, so printing something like, okay, user add was failed or not, script has been not completed successfully, or whatever it is, user is not actually successful, whatever the message you want to put, you put it. That's all. How do you check that particular condition? In the conditions class we are going to talk about, but in the conditions class we are going to use the same exit status here. We are going to use same exit status. Okay, so that is about exit status and redirectors. So we just talked about exit status, and the next one we have is pipes. So you know all the time you might be using pipes. Okay, so ls pipe or cat pipe. Okay, cat pipe, whatever it, you might be using pipe symbol. What is this particular pipe symbol? What a pipe symbol does is it allows you to combine two commands. Command 1, I'm using multiple spaces, that's all. Command 2, so you know, okay, just for to show you here. Otherwise multiple spaces are not required. You can directly write, okay, command 1 pipe, command 2, that's fine. Now what is the thing happening? So you put ls command or cat command pipe grep, or you could do some command 1 pipe second command. Okay, what is happening here? Okay, so as it is, okay, so something, okay, assume this is as a pipe. Okay, now what is happening here is the command 1 output. So any command coming, any output command to command 2, okay, if once enters into this particular pipe, okay, what happens is it will be converted as input. Converted as input means the standard output of first command is converted and standard input to second command. So what pipe symbol is doing? It converts the output to input. It converts the output to input. Okay, that's all. So that doesn't mean you're executing a single command there. No, you're not using a single command. It's a two commands, two process IDs will be created in the backend. System executes two commands. There is no compromise over there. It is creating two commands. But the only thing happening is you are converting the output and sending it as input to the other command. So if you break it, actually, you can break it basically. Okay, how do you break it? So I can use command 1, redirect the output to out file, and command 2, take the input as output file. That's all. Both are same. See, you take like this, cat /etc password and grep for root. So what you're getting two lines. Okay, if I break it, I just don't want to use pipe symbol. I redirect to out and grep root from out file. You got the same output. There is absolutely no difference. Absolutely no difference. You got the same thing. If you break it, it's two commands. What is the only difference happening here? Here you are using a file. You are not using a file. Okay, system is going to use a memory. System is going to use memory. Okay, so memory is 10 times faster than your disk. Okay, so that's the reason here you may see some latency. Here you may see it very fast because this pipe symbol is going to handle by your shell. It's not going to handle by you as a file. It's going to handle by shell, and it uses a memory. And also, okay, so once after the converting the output to standard input, your shell itself will take care of erasing that particular data from the memory. But here you are putting a file in out file, means you are consuming some disk space also. Two disadvantages. Okay, so one thing, you are using a file, you are using a disk which is very slow, and as well as you are using the disk, you are consuming some disk space. Two disadvantages. So pipes are widely used. Okay, pipes are widely used. Okay, so whenever you go with the programming part in the, okay, so as if you are a programmer, so this pipes is going to be a very, okay, very helpful. Yeah, what are the pipe symbol, whatever you are seeing, it is a unnamed pipe. You have a named pipe also. You have named pipe. Okay, if you are really interested, you can just read that thing. But the pipe symbol is unnamed or a system pipe, you can say. Okay, but you have named pipes also. An interesting concept. If you want to read, you can read that. Okay, so this is about pipe symbol. What pipe symbol is doing? The converting the output of, okay, first command and giving to second command. Assume you are putting a pipe and you are putting a third command. Okay, so command 3, what is going to happen if any output coming through this particular command 2, it is converted as standard input and it is given to third command. Okay, so that is how usually pipes works. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so that is about the basic commands, and I have only 5 minutes left. If I start wild codes, I'll not be able to complete. We have communication. So how do you send a communication? Okay, so to another user, whoever is logged in. Okay, so sending mails we already seen. Okay, so sending mail, checking mail, customizing mail. How do you send an email to the other user? So let's say I logged in as SB47. Okay, so I want to send an email to 48 user. So mail -s hello. So SB48 at the rate localhost. Hello, what's up? Okay, so now the mail is received by SB48 user. So if you just type enter itself, this system itself is telling you you have a new email. So I'll go mail enter. So I'll see. Okay, so 3. Okay, so I can see that, okay, so this particular mail has been received from this particular user. So if you want to reply, okay, so you can just use reply. Okay, so you can use reply and then type your message. Okay, so it's all command line. So mail has been sent, and this particular mail user is going to get the email. So if you give mail enter, so you can see this particular mail as replied. This is a replied email. Okay, so 3 enter, so nothing. That's all. That is how you send a communication. Now this is a mail thing. You started using communication, but if you would like to chat, okay, so but charting is not going to restrict from one user to another user. It is going to be across system. So you can use a wall command in order to send a message. Okay, man space wall. So wall command is to send a message to everybody's terminal. It's not going to be a single user. It is going to be for all the users. Okay, now so wall, I'm just giving good morning to everyone. So it is being sent to all the users. See, the other user on the terminal, he got a message, good morning to everyone, right? So this is how, okay, so if you would like, see, where do you use this particular wall message? You are an administrator in a company and that particular server is facing some issues. What kind of issues? Some issue, okay, you feel that you want to reboot the machine. You decided to reboot that particular machine. So, and also you see so many users logged in and doing the work. Okay, how can you communicate to all those users? Now what I'll do is I will put a message so saying that, okay, please save your work, I'm going to reboot this particular machine in 15 minutes. Okay, so what I'm going to do, okay, so please save your work, this server is going to be down in next 15 minutes. Okay, so this is going to send all the users whoever is logged in. Okay, so yeah, I can see please save your work, this server. Okay, immediately what I'll do something, okay, some commands to save and I'll immediately exit. Okay, so likewise, okay, so I'm going to send a communication to all the users. So as an administrator, so I mean this is the usual work with wall command we usually do. I'm going to bring down the server, so you take care of your work. Okay, I'll give a decent amount of time, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is. Or if I want to, okay, so send for each and every minute, I can write some small loop and I can put this particular comment in a loop and I'll reduce the time. If it is 15, next time it is going to be 14, 13. Okay, like that I'll make it 0. So after that 0, I'll just forcefully shut down the server or reboot the server, whatever it is. Okay, so this is how these commands are, communication commands are usually used in scripting. Okay, and also whenever you write a script, you want to send the status to the other users, email. Okay, what is the command I'm going to use now? Mail is the command. That's all. Mail is the command. And also if you would like to send attachments along with email, you have a third party commands called as MUTT command. Okay, so just give a try. Just give a try of this particular command, mut command. Okay, and what else? That's all. If any questions, you can put through, or else we'll just close the call.